And the nice thing about having Yapsor and Jerax on the same team is they kind of both had been filling a lot of that same position, a lot of roaming 4, aggressive 4s, moving around the map, setting up fights, and I don't know, I wouldn't mind seeing those two players on a Mirana Shadow Demon duo trying to cause a ruckus in the early game. We'll have to see if that's going to be the case or not, but obviously there's always the option to fall back on that core Lady Mirana. But
yeah, if they get an SD disruption combo, they might just get Ogre to half health.
yeah, that's true
And
too.
that's very worrying, like for an Ogre.
Well, I'd
you know,
hope they're not wasting it on an Ogre, dude. They better be running around
Yeah.
the mid lane or the off lane or something, trying to ruin the lives for some of the Elements cores. But yeah, I don't, Ogre, he's in a league of his own as far as being a tanky, durable support.
Terrorblade out. Oh, OD gone as well. Alright, so maybe an Invoker ban for OG as well. But I'm sure it's trying to work out. So it's Elements currently banning, even though the thing is pointing at OG.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, hold on. No, it is Elements banning. Even though the timer's going down for...
10 seconds remaining.
Alright.
I don't know. We'd have to see if this clock goes to 0. I would
It's-
hope
it's
the
Elements
reserve
banning.
time goes still to Elements.
Elements probably just going to ban some strong offlaner.
Oh no, wait. Is it using OG's?
No, it's using Elements as reserve time. It's just, yeah, it's...
Oh, you're right.
That is,
I
it just points the wrong way, and it highlights the other team's reserve time when it's going through your reserve time. But I think that it shows the captain's mode thing correctly, so the players are seeing it correctly, but it's just the UI for us that's a bit messed up.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, and it's I'm sure it's on the list. It's just not at the top where we see UI and hopefully Monkey King. So that's fine. If those things
Luna
get
is
attention
out.
first, but Luna's got to go because there's a Shadow Demon, and just heaven forbid that we have to deal with that kind of game, they will get rid of her. But the quick response from OG is to get rid of a Timber Saw here. So I don't know. Does that give any sort of tells? Do you think maybe OG are trying to go for some meaty pickups, some strength cores here?
5 seconds.
I'm just trying to,
remaining.
like, I think Cole, his hero pool, I wouldn't say it's limited, I would say, like, he has his favorites. He plays Timber Saw mid quite a lot, he plays OD, he plays Invoker, and I think that's, like, his main comfort, like, and then he goes to Puck sometimes. I think we saw him play that a bit. But I think targeting bans at Elements as mid player is, like, the way to go, because I think the hero pools of the other players are quite larger overall. Like, Swift Ending plays a lot of heroes, he just plays some particularly well. So,
Yeah,
if I were to target bans, that's how I'd do it.
we'll see.
And now, Lion. That's odd.
OG's
Don't usually
turn
see
to
lions anymore.
It's a shame because when you look at Lion as a hero, especially as a support, you'd think he has pretty much every tool you could ask for here. 2 different forms of lockdown or CC, and you get your heavy burst with the finger. Both him and Rasta, just kind of fell off the radar a bit, as everyone favored out more prominent supports or tankier supports. OG respond with Akunka, so it does kind of give. It's much more likely now that this is indeed going to be a core Mirana, and that's a Shadow Demon Kunkka duo, which was also very popular for quite a while, especially during
10
TI.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, SD Conker for a while I think was one of the strongest heroes. Like everyone thought he was completely broken because Boat was just ridiculous, and X Mark was always catching E-Force, like Lincoln's on heroes that didn't want to get it, and Elements just decide that,
OG's turn to pick.
alright, so it's Lark. And
Radiant
OG pick up
team
Alchemist, so OG are gonna, I think they're doing mid Podum, and then they're doing the safe lane Alk. I think they did this previously, and then the Alk went like tread straight Radiance and then just kind of ran at people.
10 seconds remaining.
What about playing the Alchemist, though, in this new 7.0 map with its new runes? You got double the bounties here.
Well, you got double the bounties, but they did nerf his bounty, so he doesn't get like 3, 4, 5, 6 times as much.
Yeah.
You get it's always double now. So that's been reduced a lot. The camps aren't easy to stack, so you can't like very easily retreat to the jungle. You can sort of, but I think it's not so much as good middle anymore, I think.
So you'd
But,
say that if Alchemist had a choice, the hero, he would prefer to play on the old map than this new one?
Yeah, I think so. He's probably one of the few heroes that would. Very, very stack reliant heroes, probably because, yeah, it's just less easy to do so.
10 seconds
Well, we're going to be going into our final pickups here. Elements looking to target out some of those pesky off-laners, already getting rid of the bat, but now getting rid of the clockwork for OG side. Final ban and keeping tabs on what seems to be the potential Cole pickup. You already named the Puck as a potential option. We saw his TA in the previous game, but
They ban out Ursa.
they ban out Ursa.
I think maybe it is Alk mid and Podom going offlane, and then they're just saving it for some carry. But they're probably gonna have.
Now, I'm curious.
Elements have one final pick.
Maybe just looking to utilize and take advantage of a lot of the drunken haze in the laning stage. But Elements pick up the trusty Jug here. He has Blade Fury to help bail on any sort of potential trouble coming out from concoction stuns, or does get help with those hazes, or gets X'd up. That's a solid grab overall.
Yeah, it's good versus the SD Morano. He's very, very hard to catch out. He's pretty much safe from the SD Conquer, Podom, and Aras, and he's difficult to kill with Split. He has good itemization. He lanes pretty well against most of these heroes. He's gonna almost free farm against anything but Panda, and even Panda he goes relatively even against. So I'd say it's a pretty safe pick here. I'm just kind of worried that there's gonna be a point where Slark's gonna want to fight and Jug's gonna not really have that many items. So they need to kind of make sure this Jug's lane goes well, I think.
I didn't notice this. I was looking over Kunkka's torrent tree here. 200 torrent AoE at level 25. It sounds pretty nice. I wonder how significant that could be.
Is that radius or diameter?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
If it's radius, that's insane. If it's diameter, then it must be radius, right? Because everything else is done. Actually, I don't know.
That might. Do you think would fill like the whole mid lane ramp or something like that? Is it that kind of big?
Oh, if it was 200 radius, then yeah, it would do.
I want to see it.
That is absolutely absurd. But I don't know how it's doing it. It just kind of says plus 200 AOE, area of effect, like 200 area. So
yeah,
is it increasing? Like the area is increasing by 200, in which case that's not that much. Like that's just only a tiny radius increase. But I don't think that's how they're doing it.
I'm not sure Ice Frog's geometry on this one, or what kind of angle he's trying to go with. So we'll have to see. I don't know if Yapster's even going to be able to make it to 25 in this game, but if he is, I would love to find out how big actually that frickin' torrent is going to be. But it looks like we're going to get underway. For people just tuning in, welcome and behold, it's Dota Pit Season 5. We are currently in the European Qualifier Finals. They actually had 2 European qualifiers. Virtus Pro already going to be attending the Croatia LAN, but we're looking to get the final team to join the sides of teams like EG, like Secret, Wings, DC, and such. Elements, though, making a strong case for themselves. They took down both of their series yesterday against ATN and then took down Alliance to earn this spot. OG, as we know, are currently playing with a couple of stand-ins. Both Fly and Ana, I believe, are on vacation since their win at the Major. So we currently have Trixie and Yapsor in play. Yesterday found success, or maybe not yesterday, day before found success against Alliance. Now looking to hope to get the LAN win. Top lane already off to a frisky start. Mitch eating a lot of the damage, is going to be bullied back. Yapsor was waiting and hiding within those trees. They reveal their full tri-lane in full force now, as Elements are going to be rolling with that 2-1-2 setup.
Yeah, this dual lane is... Yeah, these are the two most annoying heroes to try and zone out. They both got higher than normal regen, they both got quite good armor. There's a poor man shorter than Nyx, and Ogre just doesn't need that kind of thing. He just runs around with boots and he's still indestructible.
Ooh, S4. Sorry, he was very low there. One more auto attack and he would have been done for. Right under the tower there. Caught with the pounce and some lockdown from LeBron, but there's the South. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, Slark's pretty good against... As long as Slark like maintains a high health, like he reveals the fact that he's taken that rune to Gogi, which means that he knows that the Kunkka's gone past, so he's picking out exactly where he knows the Kunkka will be. And that means that Cole knows what's going on. So they're probably going to move the courier after it's on its return journey, because there is a chance he could kill it. He's a melee hero, but he does have boots, so he could go for that. But now they know. I'm just kind of... This Ogre... I think OG needs to be careful not to let their supports get completely paralyzed up top by the Ogre just running at them. Because I think he's guaranteeing the Nyx gets farm, but I think he's also, by staying up here, guaranteeing that the SD, they just leave the other lanes alone.
of my way.
And there we see
I
Yapsor.
think-
He's
yeah.
getting into position for that return of the courier here. Was that message passed along, and will the courier change its route? It looks like they are controlling it. Okay,
Yep,
yeah, they made the right call. So Yapsor sees that he has been spotted out, and he will head elsewhere here. It's an approach maybe toward the mid lane, or it's back to top, so that they don't get too overwhelmed with this, you know, Elements dual off lane that's going to start imposing its will onto Trixie and company.
And what I like on bot lane is Swift Ending picks up the early Orb of Venom, which means that Panda needs to be very, very careful, because if Slark pounces him, he needs to clap. But he needs to clap after the Dark Pact has gone off, otherwise he will be completely screwed. He's just dead if he gets the slow on the Slark Dark Pacted off. So he needs to be paying very, very close attention the entire time. Although after that he is going to pop his Shrine, so now he's got a lot more mana to play with, and Slark is unable to pounce him at this point. So this is where S4 will get most of his doubles and farm.
Jarek's getting hit on in the side shop here, gets off the disruption. It goes into an arrow and a starfall, but as you can see, Gogi is just so big on that ogre. Had this been any other support, he would have been done for sure, but heads all the way back towards the tower and will be able to just heal right up. Jarek's is going to be eating just as much damage trying to make the gank happen, and they'll just have to reset a bit, just picking some of the heaviest tankers to put in that dual lane against any other case. That would have been just a terrible safe lane to go into. A disruption Marana combo with Kunkka on top of it be an absolute nightmare, but Elements were able to put together these like Bash Brothers, if you will, and already Yapsor yeah, do not try to head back in there for a new bounty rune. No thanks.
Alright, so if you look at offlaners, comparable farm, Nyx is doing just as well as the Panda. The Panda's pretty much alone, so S4's doing a pretty good job here. The Nyx getting helped by the Ogre at a similar level of farm. It's just the SD is getting to pull and the Conquer is getting to roam around and take bounty. So I think overall the supports for the side of OG are doing better. But now the line's going to get a little bit of time where he can pull, and the Slark gets to zone out the Panda for a bit. So I think the game's going to slow down for now, and then when the Jug hits us level 6, Lion might want to rotate around and pressure the Alk. And as a result, the SD is probably going to need to be available for that, which means the Nyx might start playing more aggro on the bottom. So everything's going to kick off in about 30 seconds to a minute from now, I think. But
Alright,
we'll see
I
how
like that.
aggressive they want to play.
Swift Ending just TPs to the shrine, heals up, and we'll head back to the lane here. I love seeing the new different ways everyone is trying to utilize some of the early game shrine action, because if everyone just goes into what feels natural for them when they play a game of Dota, then you're losing all that potential for the early shrine heals. So a lot of people are saying you just dump what you can in the laning phases now, and then quickly go replenish, as now they're looking to utilize all of that new mana, making a move for S4 in the bottom lane. They can soften him up quite a bit. There's the secondary stun with the pounce now, and with the pact, they'll be able to get it done. Swift Ending will pick up your first blood for Elements Pro Gaming in game number 2.
Yep.
Top lane, Disruption, Soul Catcher. He's able to sidestep into the creeps. There's going to be no arrow to connect, and Starstorm is good with Torrent. Gets Mitch pretty low. 2 poison stacks, but not going to be good enough to get the finish. Turns it around. Oh, tried to Carapace maybe the poison damage, but not getting the stun on Jarek's. But both of these guys not close to being in fatal territory.
Alright, so Trixie's got his bottle, he's trying to fill it up somewhere, but every single rune everywhere is getting controlled, and the top rune doesn't spawn. So he catches Cole with an arrow, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything to him. He's probably going to have to run away right now.
LeBron will grab up the rune. It was a DD there at the bottom. He'll just take it so that no one else will. And
he
he'll
takes
also
the bounty
take
as
a
well.
bounty. And No Tail heading that way right now. What? Where's my bounty? He'll have to head all the way around the corner and back to the lane while LeBron gets to take that business towards S4 here. Looking to approach from behind. He's got a bit of mana. Starts things off with a couple of DD shots. There's the pounce. There's the stun. There's the kill. S4 will go down a second time. Jarek's looking to rotate in, but it's a bit too late. He was hoping to get a disruption save.
Yeah, the lanes are going very well for Elements right now. I think the Slark and the Lion just punishing this Panda, like, I don't think Panda can reliably stay here once the Slark gets like level 5 to 6, because then he can always pop like his ulti and then he can always win that man fight. So, and S4 doesn't really have a way of getting away, so he needs help to kind of stay here. And now Jarex will kind of be in the area, but I think overall they just need to bring a lot of heroes down here to challenge the Slug. Otherwise he's going to get very big very soon.
And we've seen that story a couple of times already in these couple of series with Elements Pro Gaming. No-Tail will take this time as he heads into the jungle here. These camps are a bit more clustered. Should make things easier for him. Oh, S4. Diving down deep. He's looking for vengeance against Swift Ending. He's charging on in with the stomp. He does have his level 6, but he's not looking to commit it quite yet. Jarek's from the front now as they begin this kind of flank. No TP rotations in yet. But now they're making the call. There's a secondary stomp. Now the Primal Split does come out. The disruption's already there. They catch him with a Torrent. And I believe a Soul Catcher was on top of it. Now looking to go into Shadow Dance. Pounces out and away. Here comes Gogi now. Stepping in on the action. They converge onto him. But he's also a pretty damn tanky Ogre. OG not able to get a lot done. And they're going to be forced to retreat. S4 on the back end of his Primal Split. He's going to get caught. Pounced on. Dark Pact. There goes the Ignite. He's trying to get some right clicks onto Swift Ending, but now a Moonlight Shadow going to be forced out, but it's not going to get the save. S4 goes down for a third time. OG, even with the 3-on-1, unable to make the commitment onto Swift Ending and get the finish.
Yeah, in that time, though, 2 solo kills happening. No-Tail got caught by the Jug, who killed him without using Omni Slash, in fact, and Trixie caught the Nyx with an arrow.
Bottom lane, Yapso are also going to be going down, so it's pretty much non-stop. Swift Ending dominating all of a sudden. It's only 8 minutes into this game, and it's 5-1, and Slark owns 4 of those freaking kills. Oh boy.
Yeah, that was their main, first big rotation, going with the Panda ulti, you go in with the SD Conquer. Ogre just... Is there any other hero that, at level 4 just decides, he sees a Panda split and 2 heroes diving his tower, right, and he just goes, I'm gonna TP in that.
I want to be in the
I'm
front.
gonna be fine. Yeah, he just... Yeah, but that first rotation not working out, and them giving the line his level 6, them giving Slark his Aquila, and he's probably going to get his clarity up, and he's going to be just as strong as he ever was. I think that first movement not working out is going to be punished quite hard now, because they won't be able to pressure the Jug, they won't be able to pressure the Slark. These 2 heroes are going to farm, so they need to somehow stop this Nyx getting something with his Vendetta, because if his first few Vendetta ganks work, he catches Alk once or twice, and not working out is going to be punished quite hard. Or if they punish the Panda even more, then I think OG are going to be so far behind once it's the 15-minute mark that when Slark gets a Shadow Blade, they will not be able to do anything on the map whatsoever. This is all very Doomsday, but after that, they just need to be very, very careful. They've got Conky's getting a double quite soon. He hit level 5 now. He's going to be sharing XP with No-Tail with his stack. Do anything on the map whatsoever.
Yeah,
they've got a boat to work
help.
with. SD's almost going to get purged, so... And they also have a pot of multi in 30 seconds, so let's see what they can do then.
They have a lot coming their way, and they're going to have to definitely turn the momentum, but Mitch, he's hiding, waiting on that bounty rune. He has a Vendetta, could strike onto Trixie, but they actually ping it on out as they drop the Sentry Ward. Jarek's is going to get the disruption. The second they see that rune snagged up, they're looking to make their move, but Cole and company already in the neighborhood, and they make their move and strike onto Trixie. Jarek's is like, I don't want any freaking part of this man. He is trying to run back, but he gets fingered in the bum as he heads. Comes the lawnmower, Cole, trying to sweep through with the Blade Fury. Not going to be able to get the catch on Jarex. He makes it out just in time. Heads back away.
Alright, so that didn't work out. The SD gets away. Raindrop is once again showing that it is quite a good item. It is very worthwhile to pick up, especially against Lion, against Nyx. These heroes were just generic, like, nuke spells. Not so effective against the side of OG because you've got the Shadow Poison, which pops 2.
Yeah.
Alk doesn't really, like, do that kind of damage. And so yeah, OG, they're going to have that top lane for S4 to farm in. I'm not really sure if he's going to go for a dagger or he's going to try and get Treads tank up a bit, but I think he just needs some space to work with. And now, with Gogi picking up this Tome of Knowledge, he's got the Obs and Sentries, he probably wants
You're an ogre, because that means you might have the option to not have to do 2 bloodlusts, only just 1, so mana saving. Mid lane, they'll be able to help burst it down a bit, but as mentioned before, I mean, Cole is grinding up on the farm. He's getting closer to that level 2 ultimate, but bottom lane, it's a 3-on-2 here, coming out from OG, looking to take an advancement back their way. Good connection with the boat, and the leap in Starfall will earn them the pick.
so they're going to be safe from his Vendetta roaming, which means that Alk is going to have this time to farm Radiance. He's getting very, very close. 1,000 gold and he'll have it.
Swift Ending, confident, runs right in. Oh! Last second disruption as the stun comes out, and Trixie bounces away. Oh, a cat on the run. Trixie, can he make it away from this one? Just Hail Marys an arrow, and it looks like he might be able to make it out. Holy moly. Preach it to Jarex right there. Last second save with the
happens, they can run around with SD, pressure some tier 1s, and it's actually quite difficult for the Lion and Nyx to kind of maintain because they're still very, very squishy against Radiance Alk running around.
Have you been able to
Not
look
so much
at
the Ogre or the Jug, but
the new formula for when... I know it's technically it's just the more net worth you have, the more gold you're going to lose. So if you're a support with no net worth, you're not going to be losing very much gold. But with this new formula at all, is it worse for an alchemist to die when he's in this kind of position where he's way up and above in the net worth? It was already bad before, but if he happens to die, Rhyme, like
if he happens to die when he's like 600 gold off his Radiance and he's the highest net worth hero, then yeah, I think he does give away quite a bit.
Yeah, that's not going to be good, but hey, Mitch might go down as an exchange. It looks like they will be able to get that still. Better, though, for Elements. A secondary kill will be had, though, as Trixie picks up the 2 for knocking out both Mitch and Gogi, but still Rhyme getting no tail to start things off while he's so far in ahead and trying to just muscle towards a Radiance. That's got to feel pretty good for Elements. LeBron, bottom lane, sees Trixie coming, who just picked up those couple of kills and quickly falls himself under the power of LeBron in Swift Ending.
I would say it would be even with them getting the out, but then losing both the Nyx and the Ogre, and then Podem kind of getting close to the Axe, but Podem immediately losing that and then feeding it back into the Slark. He's now going to have a Shadow Blade, and then they're going to have some more time where they can roam around the map. And all this time, Jug is just constantly farming. He's going to pressure this mid tower, get closer to his Manta style. He's just going to accumulate net worth up until the end of time, and then it's past that point where everything gets a little bit rough. But they do have this time. The Alk he's got his Radiance now, so now he has that. It's very, very easy for them to group up with the SD, and they have tools to fight with at this point.
Well, it's a good thing he just got that Radiance because they spotted him once again, and the 3-man hit squad are easily going to make their move and get the kill. They tried to save him with a Moonlight Shadow, but the sentry was there. Back and below at that same moment, Jarex going for a core himself. Swift Ending, though, has the tools to make it away from trouble as he pounces back towards his tower. Helps coming in. Gogi's first on the scene. Arrow connects onto Gogi. Almost catches Swift Ending with that one, but it's just an Ogre. He's happy to kind of be the pillow for that shot. And we'll be able to step back and away here. But there's a difference already. One team jumps, gets that kill on the core. The other team goes for Swift Ending. And unfortunately, they will be coming up a bit short.
Yeah, every single time I talk about this guy's Radiance, he seems to fall over, so I'm going to stop doing that. Swift Ending, yeah, he's walking towards his Echo Saber now. He hasn't really got that much with the Shadow Blade, but the fact that they've tried to kill him and failed makes his time worthwhile. But he's going to try and heal up under this ward with his teammate Gogi. Just generally quite aggressive wards from the side of OG, this ward here. Although they are trying to retain control of their jungle by the one on the river and the one up top, but that one's going to expire fairly soon.
Ooh,
And
back in the lane, No Tail in a bit of trouble, but Swift Ending is going to get knocked with the stun and quickly brought down. Big strike there for Elements, and they're going to have to go on full retreat mode from this bottom tier 1. Gogi's already on the way out and will avoid the trouble. But as mentioned before, Cole, he's the insurance policy, while Swift Ending's happy to be the brash one with all of his new farm. Cole's the one persistent, farming in these lanes. He's back in the mid lane now, looking to finish out this mid lane tier 1 and be the one to fall back on in case Swift Ending does get a bit too over assertive. But back into this glyph, arrow, woo, gets close. Cole sees the trouble and quickly gets the hell out of here. And also worthy to note that LeBron also was muscling his way in the top lane. He got a bounty rune picked up now and now earned his first talent, 175 free health for the little guy.
So this is the point where OG is at their strongest. Panda's now going to send his dagger out to himself. There's Tread's Radiance on the Alchemist. The SD and Conquer both have their ultimates up. They're ready. They've got a smoke ready. So as soon as they take this tower, they can start making moves. I think if they lose a fight here, this is going to be quite detrimental to them. But I don't think they have much. Like, there's not much exposure for them. They can kind of disrupt, send Alcholutions out, and just kind of sit here and siege for a bit. Because there's no real like initiation on the side of Elements. Like they can catch people out like with smokes, but they just can't really go in.
Well, Mitch can go in. He has that Blink Dagger, jumps in, tries to get the stun, but that's when the boat comes out, and that could turn to be more trouble for Elements here. Cole spinning on in, has to step back with the help of the Healing Ward. Swift Ending caught in the mix. The tier 1 will be dropped. Are OG going to continue forward here? They're going to get the set up onto the Ogre. Step back is Jerix, though, is going to get swarmed by Swift Ending. He's quickly taken out. Mitch also moving in. Sees No Tail, gets blasted with the finger. He's going to go down. Not looking so good for OG now as they quickly swarm in. One by one, they'll fall down. S4 on the back end of his Primal Split will be taken apart. Elements recognize the pressure coming in from OG. They seem to double back a bit, wait it out, and then strike. And, well, it seems to work out pretty nicely. They take down 3, they take a tier 1 themselves, and they're moving forward for a tier 2.
Yeah, they survived the Panda ulti without any losses. Mitch managed to survive just blinking in. He only stunned one hero, but they couldn't really do anything about it. Like, they just waited out the boat buff, waited for the Panda ulti to run out, and then they just go right back in.
Yep.
And now, LeBron's going to have money for his dagger. Ogre's getting close to a Glimmer Cape. And Cole's almost finished his Manta Style, so now things get very, very difficult for OG. Like, they've tried to fight with their Panda ulti, they tried to fight with their Radiance, they got a tower, but then immediately lost the fight and then lost their mid-tier 1. So any map control they got from that tower is also kind of nullified. So it's just a question of, are they happy having this Alp just continue farming, or do they want to take more objectives with it? Because Alchemist, he doesn't really match up that amazingly well versus Stark in like super late game, or even like mid to late game. And Stark's itemization now is a lot more convenient, because Alchemist is Manta, like Manta Illusion's got nerfed, like you kind of feed gold away in that respect now. I think 7.00 kind of benefits the Radiant team more than it does the Dyers.
I've always been kind of curious how that is going to be panning out. I mean, obviously there's a lot more Dota to be had before a true meta is formed and everyone seems to be conforming to where this patch is and actually which side does get the better benefit. Who knows, down the line maybe something will be revealed on the Dire side that suddenly gives them a huge upper hand advantage. But I could definitely see the argument for Radiant definitely having that bit of a bonus here as we see movement from OG. Smoked up, hustling towards this mid lane. Closest one is Mitch, but Mitch obviously in Vendetta and rolling on out. OG are going to extend this movement now as they drop out the mid-light shadow.
Smoke into smoke.
Just behind the tier 2. They roll on in. Cole's the first one running in with his own smoke. Is going to be able to get out the Blade Fury before the arrow can connect. Primal Split already committed from S4 as he makes his move on in, trying to surround Mitch. There goes the Omni. It catches a lot of the illusions. Now they put their focus onto No Tail. The fight split down the middle. No Tail going to get bursted apart and taken down. Not looking so good again for OG here. Cole steps back a bit, both him and Swift Ending committing in hard. Swift Ending on the back of his Shadow Dance, though, will survive. Yapsor valiantly trying to go for the TP, but he will get knocked in the head with an Ignite and pulled back down to earth. He'll get dropped. A 3-for-1 trade on the back end of this. Still, Elements feeling themselves in this game, and man, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I look at this kind of matchup. I look at how Elements have been playing, and I can't help but be reminded with like how Ad Finem were like rolling through a lot of their qualifiers. This team also pretty emotional. I mean, you can't read a lot of emotion through Twitter, but in response to just hyping up the series, I was seeing like LeBron saying, "Let's do it," and that was a lot of the stuff I saw from Ad Finem. And maybe they're just one of those teams that when they're feeling good and they're hot, they're like very hot.
I think they just have a far better understanding of this patch than anyone else right now, or like the teams they played. They just seem very, very comfortable on it. Like their rotations seem to work out. They seem to not get caught out too much. Like the smoke rotations from OG, like they caught out Slark once, but their core players, they're comfortable on their heroes. They know what they're doing. Like LeBron and Gogi, Gogi's just, I'm quite impressed because like if someone joined my team and they wanted to play middle, and then I figured out it was my destiny to play Ogre for however many series straight. I wouldn't be too happy with that, but no, he's happy doing that. He's willing to play Ogre for the cause, and as a result, they have a well-balanced team. Like their drafting is very, very good. I think they always end up with a draft that they feel comfortable going into the mid to late game with. They survived like the weakest edge of their draft, which in this game I think was the laning phase, and they kind of got through that bit. And now they're just, I just want to say they're outplaying OG in these fights. Really, because Swift Ending just never seems to really get caught out.
And Trixie, however, does get caught out. Mid lane, he will get jumped on from both LeBron and Swift Ending, and both these guys can just engage and disengage so quickly now that LeBron does have that Blink Dagger to work with. We'll be able to step back. Yes, of course, we got to remember and cover base for all the OG diehard fans out there. They aren't playing with their full roster. The captain, obviously, out on vacation right now. Same with Ana, so I imagine it's No Tail calling a lot of the shots, which has been different than what OG have been used to. Nevertheless, though, Elements, I would even say at that point, still come in as underdogs and still playing pretty dang sharp and not looking to slow the roll even here in the grand finals as they try to move themselves into a game to win. And then at that point could be, a 3-0 shutout of OG. Might not be too crazy at that point. So YapzOr trying his best to just get rid of some of those pesky wards, not allowing Elements to be in total control of the map, because a lot of them are going to still need a lot of farm, and they can't just hand everything over to No Tail and leave nothing for everyone else.
Yeah, No Tail's just going to absorb a lot of farm up here. They're playing defensively, they're dewarding the entrance to their jungle, but yeah, you see Mitch and Swift Ending, they're just looking for anyone who wants to leave that tier 2 tower. So Cole posturing very aggressively up middle, he's almost got his Maelstrom. This jug's going to start almost overtaking the Alk if it continues like this.
Ooh, arrow right down where Elements were, but will not find a target. They are still flirting around with each other here as OG on the back end of that Moonlight Shadow. Swift Ending looking to make his move in, spots out No Tail, goes for the Echo Saber, a couple of strikes in, gets the pounce. Save Disruption does come out. No Tail, though, on the back end of it, does get hit with his own stun and locked within the trees and Ignite on top of it, but he's still holding out. Still regenning up, and will be able to back out in a way. Not so lucky is going to be Gogi. He gets targeted and taken apart. Swift Ending very low, able to move in and get the finish onto YapzOr, but will lose his own life. No Tail still living on, hiding within those trees. This could be OG's fight to take as they also get Cole down. Alright, double kill for Trixie. They are on the fight back, and this will earn them a nice little gold swing. Nearly 2k just for that fight alone.
Yeah, it's strange seeing Elements just make simple mistakes like that in a fight. Like Swift Ending just went in without his ulti, or he pounced aggressively when the Alk wasn't dead yet. The Lion tried to join the fight over like the Panda ulti, like the Panda was between him and the fight, and he basically had to try and finger the Alchemist. He fingered the SD illusion of the Alk, so the Alchemist survived that fight. All in all, just uncharacteristic mistakes really just kind of costing them this fight.
Just, cast your curse after I was just kind of boasting him up a bit, and they have to go and have a fight like
it
that.
happens sometimes.
Oh, Mitch.
Trixie on the run.
Yep, he gets hit with that Vendetta. Oh, I love that. Carapace chases him down and uses that Agnem's against him to cause the stun, and that will lead to the grab right there.
Yep, you actually can't miss a stun on a Potom if you're next ganking him, which is one of the downsides of having one of your cores being a Potom against Nyx, but they seem to be doing... He did a fair amount in that fight. He got double Starfall onto the Slark, thereby making sure that the Slark couldn't actually play aggressively without losing his own life. which did actually happen. So I think it's going to be up to... If Mitch gets caught here, I think this could be quite bad.
Yeah, I mean, OG, because of the power of that Alchemist, have never really fallen so far behind as far as the net worth in this game. And really, with any fight,
no.
they'll get a kill. But yeah, unfortunately, a little comedy of errors as they try to get the jump onto Mitch. But eventually, they will be able to get the snag with the X. They pull him back in. They burn him quite a bit with the help of that Radiance. But now Swift Ending looking to move in and get his mark onto Jarex. Jarex, though, able to get off the Disruption save. Swift Ending hiding under the Shadow Dance, trying to get the burst here onto No-Tail. Can they get the finish? They're trying to bring him down, and they'll get it done with the finger. Moonlight Shadow will not keep him under the shadows and safe. He will get taken apart. Turnaround play comes out from Elements, sports them 2 kills. Very close, though. Jarex almost able to live. But Elements, just after fumbling over themselves in a previous fight, get themselves right back on track.
Yep, they just didn't put the sentry down. So they were like, okay, we've got everything set up. They did everything right. Like, No-Tail turned off his Radiance while the Carapace went off, so it didn't stun himself. SD timed everything. They got the Conquer Torrent perfectly. And then they just didn't put the sentry down, so he just walked away. So sometimes you just kind of overlook the little things for the really complex stuff.
And that is a
Now
tier 2
Stark is
down.
getting, yeah, close to a Silver Edge now. The Mjolnir is coming very, very close for the Jug, who is about... Yeah, he's getting pretty big now. Like, the Jug hasn't really been a major factor, but he's been involved in all these fights. He's been farming quite quickly throughout the stuff, and a Bloodlusted Jug with Manta Mjolnir is going to kill a lot of heroes very, very quickly. Like, this can't really be overlooked. Like, S4's got his Midas going, he's looking towards the Vad, so they've got like some physical armor going, but it feels like No-Tail's item progression, if they don't win this next fight, it's going to kind of stagnate. He needs the Octarine to really stay alive, and without it, I think... Ooh.
And he's definitely not near that mark on being able to just freely hand out Ags to his team to try to take advantage of the high ceiling that you get when you have an Alchemist here. But as they smoke and head out for some wards, Swift Ending promptly moves on in for Jarex. Connect with the Disruption. There's the Torrent, but he just gets the Shadow Dance off. Trixie throws out the arrow. It's not going to be able to find anybody. And with that, they'll be able to slow the roll of OG, and OG are going to have to look for a new approach elsewhere. Or, I guess they're... No, you can't really go for Roche. Not feeling like a good Roche moment for OG, so... Back to the grind of farm, and they'll have to look for new opportunities to try to take kills and take back momentum in this game.
Yeah, LeBron is Illusion Exterminator, so he catches 40 gold and removes those 2 SC illusions, so they can't even really reliably scout with them. So, we found out what the Lion pick was for. He doesn't really like things that aren't real. And Swift Ending and Jug are just really going to farm 2 lanes together, and they're not going to be able to worry about losing Roche, because OG just don't feel comfortable grouping up and looking for a fight at this point.
I mean, they're still kind of clumped towards this mid lane, like, oh, just in case Swift Ending is a bit aggressive, they want to make sure they're nearby to bail someone out. And it's only Jarex who's just kind of farming through that top lane right now. So, hopefully for the sake of OG, they're not going to be bottlenecking all their resources right now. But now a fight could be breaking out right inside the Roche pit. Cole happy to run right into the action. No-Tail forced to pop his Blade Mill and get the save from Jarex. Now looking to isolate and take down LeBron as Trixie jumps in. Can they get the burst? It looks like they will, but Swift Ending looking to get redemption. Jumps onto Trixie, gets out the Moonlight Shadow, and is able to leap away from trouble. Here comes the rush from OG. S4 in that Primal Split. They get the surround and the takedown of Gogi, but Swift Ending moves in and takes down 1. Now waiting for the burst from S4. He's able to jump back out. Swift Ending, is he going to continue to chase this one? It's a 2-for-2 trade with Mitch in. He will blink. He will get the connection of the stun. There's the pounce. They're looking to go for S4. They will get down Mitch. Can the 3 of them do battle against Swift Ending? It looks like they may go for it here. With the help of Trixie, they will get him nice and low. And that could be the end of that one. As the dust settles, it looks like a 3-for-2 trade. And well, as long as Swift Ending doesn't catch someone here. Oh, he's waiting for Trixie. There's the pounce. Oh, it's a miss. Trixie makes it away from trouble, and Elements will settle for a tier 2.
I have a feeling like... Yeah, you're saying that the kind of bottleneck, I think that at this point, it's not enough for Alk to just survive fights. He actually does need to deal damage, because all they've really got is the Panda, Conker's Nukes, and Potom. Like, I don't think that is enough to kill, like, Slark, who's sitting on 2k health, he's got his Silver Edge, he's got his ulti, he's going to be constantly regenerating. The Manta and the spin on Jug means he's incredibly hard to focus. I'm just worrying that this, like, they're going to have all of this net with an Alchemist, and it's just... It's not going to do anything. Like, it's incredibly hard for him to affect
Radiant's
the team
top
fights.
tower is under attack.
And
Yeah.
you see, like, in the previous fight, like, Cole just drops the Omni, like, he has to immediately pop the Disruption onto the Alchemist, Jarex does, and then he immediately sacrifices his own life because the Omni goes, alright, then I'm just gonna go kill you instead. So they lose their SD right away. So then Jug gets to stay alive, there's no real threat to him, he doesn't have to worry about getting purged or anything like that, so he's basically got a free reign after that moment. And I think if fights keep going like this, it's just very difficult. So OG just need to find some pick-off. But again, they're playing against a Jug with Spin, Stark with Dark Pact. What hero exactly are they going to find to get the pick-off in order to take like a 5v4 or 5v3 engagement? Because I feel these 5v5s, there's just too much stuff on Radiant for it to really work out at this point.
Yeah. And it's on OG to try to find a way to be able to either approach elements from a element of surprise so that they can get the picks that are necessary to just slowly crawl themselves back into relevance and back into a good position and farm. But Element's not really going to be allowing that. They have had a serious buddy-buddy system here. Maybe with the exception of someone like Mitch scouting out
Mitch
ahead.
just
but
runs where he wants, to be honest.
oh, no
Tail's gonna get
tail.
caught.
Caught near trouble. Yapsor's nearby, but he has to dish out everything to try to keep him alive. Moonlight Shadow, boat, and everything. Split committed, but they might be able to get the work on a swift ending. He goes into Shadow Dance and frantically tries to make it back and away. Arrow connection. Nicely done from Trixie. Will help get the finish onto Mitch. Swift ending, though. A meteor treat. Runs up and around the corner and will be able to evade any further trouble. That was an approach coming in from Elements, and it turns out it's going to be OG getting the takedown of Mitch. I mean, that is a step in the right direction for OG, but they will still need a lot more. And they had to commit a lot just to kind of keep No Tail alive for that little skirmish.
Well, Alchemist may not be able to do that much damage right now, but he's very, very tanky. Like, you've got the Octarine Blade Mail, so when Blade Mail is popped, you then lifesteal from the damage you deal with it, so you effectively reduce all damage done to yourself by roughly 25%, because it is mitigated by certain resistances like armor and things like that. So No Tail will be quite a bit tankier when he has that Blade Mail up. So bursting him is a lot more difficult, so I think now Elements have to look towards like catching the SD as Swift Ending has done in a lot of the early fights, but Jarex has been a lot more careful with the positioning recently. So they need to look towards getting that to happen again. And they can't just outright hope to focus the out, because with Boat Buff, with the Blade Mail up, he just doesn't really die.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Mitch scouting out the mid lane here, but the rest of Elements pursue, and now they make that move for No Tail, but the finger gets it done right through the Blade Mail. They're happy to commit, now sliding on in. LeBron gets the setup and looks for the follow-up takedown here, potentially onto Trixie, and they'll get it. No disruption save will be good enough. They quickly wipe out two of the cores here from OG, and now we'll take a tier 2. Elements pushing on in, looking to get a 2-0 start to this best-of-5 series here, and securing a trip to go to the Dota Pick Croatia land. They are now breaching into the high ground against the Boston Major champions. And they'll pull off for now. Feeling they already have a lot of momentum going their way. They do not want to overexert themselves, and No Tail's already back up, and now with all those tier 2s down, it's time to get rid of some shrines. And that's like an extra 150 cold for everybody for each of them.
Well, I said he couldn't die, and then he subsequently died. So if they manage to get all 5 heroes just hitting him, and they get to disable him, then he does fall over relatively quickly, because a Jug with Omni Slash and Mjolnir does a lot of damage. So, and Jug for the first time overtakes Alchemist in net worth because he had to buy back, so this is where the game gets rough. This Juggernaut has reached the point where he is very, very scary now. It's been a long time coming, but he's farmed his way through this game, through all these fights. He's kind of dropped his healing wall, dropped an Omni Slash or two. Now, he just gets to right-click people.
He certainly has evolved into quite the specimen here, as you can see. With Bloodlust, it's just an absolute monster. And No Tail and the rest of OG are going to be definitely on the back burner here, just kind of waiting within the base. But for now, Elements, after sweeping through the side of OG on their western side, will be able to kind of work through the other side and just take away all of the relative farm that could be available to them. Mitch, though, I was going to say, I don't know if you want to go for a setup with No Tail that close to his friends. But Elements, man, they're like sharks in water right now. As Swift Ending Gets a few pokes here. Now the jump in from S4. They get the pullback with the X in the Torrent. Swift Ending, though, is able to pounce away and get some force assistance to make it away from safety. If they can dodge out this S4 ulti, it could be a great time for Elements to strike. But OG are looking to make the most out of it, and they're charging on in. They look to go for Gogi. They get him with the stun. A few extra knocks and a concoction, but my god, Ogre is fat! They'll finally be able to bring him down. Are they going to be looking for more here? LeBron potentially on the turnaround as they're able to spot out and look to go for no tail. Now's the boat torrent combo. Swift Ending's in trouble, but he pounces to the low ground and makes it back and away. Now the jump in comes out with the mighty Omni, but it's all within the creeps. Mjolnir's able to bounce a lot of good damage, but they don't get enough connections with the Omni Slash itself that OG will be able to stand strong. Punches thrown from both sides. Only one casualty in the Ogre. But the jump in from Mitch now with Swift Ending. They're looking to go for the quick strike on the Trixie. Can't they get the finish? Yes, they can. Swift Ending now could be in trouble. S4 jumps in. LeBron making his move, sapping up some of the mana, but Mitch caught within his burrow. Will be dunked on, and now Cole is going to be forced to Blade Fury out from trouble. Nice Manta dodge of the concoction there, but they're able to bring him back with the X into a Torrent. They jump in. Nice stun from LeBron. Slows him down. His Swift Ending is able to get the double and the finish onto Jerix. Now he's looking to go for Yapzor. Pops out the Pact. No Tail and S4 looking for him on the way back. They get him with the X. Pull back into Torrent. Nice job with the Yapzor, but he packs and heads right up to the balcony and makes it away from trouble. Caught beside the tree pit, though, is going to be LeBron, and he gets muscled down. OG still able to scrap together some good hits. Swift Ending recharges, jumps back in, gets a few shots, and jumps right back out and allows Cole to be able to sweep things up. Between both the cores, they continue to sandwich between OG, and they will be able to get the job done on No Tail. Gogi is back and ready to play, and so are Elements as they charge down this mid lane. They could be going for the jugular.
The sense of panic like Swift Ending must have felt. Like he had no ulti, he didn't have Pounce Up, he didn't have Dark Pact, he was caught there with 200 health, surrounded by 3 or 4 OG heroes, and then just 3 mana pails, one after the other, so he had time to get out. Like, Elements are actually just ridiculously good at team fighting.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Now they find themselves inside OG's base, looking to go for the tier 3. Cole has to dodge those pesky Jug illusions as they just do a lot of work. But now, Boat gonna be dodged from Blade Fury. Swift Ending, though, eats the arrow, and they're looking to quickly make their move, and they get it done. Before the pack can be off, they will be able to finish out the Slark, and they'll get the snag onto Mitch. OG holding this mid lane. Take down 2 of the cores, and now they are rushing on in, trying to get anyone else. So nice, convenient haste rune there. LeBron, woo, has to sidestep the arrow, but it gets him closer to the Storm Panda. And with that, they'll be able to throw him back up into the air, connect with the Torrent, bada bing, bada boom. LeBron's gone.
He just puts out the mana rune on Jerax just to inconvenience him a tiny bit.
And then he disconnects from frustration. No, I'm sure it's just to reset things a bit, as there was probably a little bit of lag, and what's okay, it gives us a moment to just reflect what the hell has actually transpired between the past 5 minutes or so here, Rhyme. 1 point Elements really just shot up from what was a steady 4K net worth advantage all the way up to near 10K. Slightly dropping back now towards the way of OG because of that strong hold, but because of that whole mid lane debacle here, with Cole and Swift Ending jumping back in and out, they're still sitting pretty strong up at the top.
I still think there's a lot of leeway for OG to win these fights. They have the boat buff, they have an incredibly tanky alchemist, they have a lot of AoE damage with the split. They just have more team fight than Elements do. So it's up to Elements to have the farm advantage and to be very, very careful with their cores. Just make sure they don't get picked off, because if they lose 1 or 2 cores very early on in the fight, or even just the line and the Nyx, if they lose either one of those 2 heroes very early on, it's incredibly difficult for them to fight, because they need those heroes to really lock people down, to stop the Alchemist from right-clicking, to stop the Potom from playing very, very up on the Ogre and the Slark. It's still very, very easy for OG to win fights if Elements make any mistakes, especially if they get caught by an arrow in front of the tier 3. That is just something that really shouldn't be happening at this point.
I'm trying to look back over now on some of these talents to be able to catch up. There's no hotkey yet where you can just see everyone's talents, so if you want to check them out, you have to walk around. The one thing I've deduced here is that Jerix may have forgotten to do his level 15 talent. He's level 16 now. What would you want to get, though? Do you think the spell amplification would suit him better at this point, or do you want to get the increased cast range?
Yeah, definitely cast range, I think.
It's kind of like a poor man's little lens.
Yeah, it's only 75 actually. Maybe the 6% is better, just so you can shadow poison people to death. 75 cast range really doesn't matter that much. Like, yeah, it's just the other one is quite underwhelming though.
Yeah, his
Oh, he picks
talents
it up
don't
now.
get cool till later.
He picks
but...
up the 75 cast range.
Oh, okay. All right, nice. And now we'll have that little bit of extra space if he needs to get off those clutch disruptions. Not a whole lot of extra room, but just a little bit of something special. So back to a reset of farm here. We haven't been able to see too much of a slow period in this game for quite a while, but this is their best opportunity to kind of get back into the grind of farm here. And I can't help but go touch base with what No Tail seems to be up to, and it looks like a BKB is going to be in his near future.
Yep, he just though doesn't get disabled by the Nyx. There's a point like where if you're playing Alc and you have a Radiance, like Nyx has the ability to stun you whenever he wants. You are going to get Carapaced and you're going to get follow-up stunned every single time. So being able to just kind of break that cycle and so you can just run at the Nyx without fear is very, very important. And I think also just Dark has got his MKB, so his damage is going up and up and up. So being able to walk away from his pounce is also very, very crucial. No, that's a good choice. Just wondering, didn't really see the Ags on the Nyx Assassin do that much in the last fight. He kind of got caught as a follow-up to the start kill. But I think in the next fight we'll probably be seeing that do a lot more.
And maybe just because of the nature of a lot of the games that Elements have been in, because they seem to be winning the most of them, it's always nice to kind of, have the Ags in case you are put in a position where you have to defend your high ground. But they've never been in a position where they have to really defend high ground, so...
Yeah, I think they're very well suited. If the game reaches that point, like they're very well suited to defending the high ground. They've got the Nyx, they've got random ignites they can throw on creep waves. The illusions die very quickly to the Lion. Any overcommittal is immediately punished by Slark Pounce. They can get wrapped around on very easily. It's just, yeah, it's pretty scary for them if they want to go high ground.
Smoke here from OG, flying arrow from Trixie, maybe to scout things out and see if Elements are near that shrine, but they will catch wind of what looks like that high ground ward and quickly take it out. This leaves Elements a bit in the dark as far as what OG are up to here, but OG have not really moved whatsoever away from this Roche pit, putting priority on being able to move in and hopefully get that done. This is our new position of like what we were calling before the classic standoff near the Roche pit. But eventually OG are deterred a bit and have to pull off. Trixie's going to be taking care of this bottom lane push, and that is when Elements make their move inside the Roche pit. Another pause comes out from LeBron here, but do you think Elements are going to be able to get away with this? I mean, they do have some pretty good damage, and it looks like OG are already pretty dang far from the pit.
Yeah, with Bloodlusted Jug and Slark's not there, but he should get there in due time. I think they'll be able to kill it, although Conquer, if he really wants, could get there and Torrent Boda before they could really do anything to stop him. Also, there's, like before when you had to sell Midas at some point and you like, I really don't want to, like you're on like level 22 or something, like you want to get to level 25 much more quickly, and it's like, there's so much XP left to go, you don't really want to get rid of the Midas just yet. Backpack has solved this. You can just keep the Midas there.
Is someone doing that right now?
Wait, hold on. Look at his Midas. Wait, is S4 look quickly? Is it counting down? The Midas on S4?
It is.
What? No, it's got to go back because it was at like 80 seconds cooldown before this pause. No, that's got to be. That's got to be
the backpack bug. The cooldown continues during pause.
That is ridiculous.
Unless it's a spectator bug and we don't see it.
Unless it's a spectator bug. But
that would
if
be.
That's genuinely the case.
Someone
get
on and test it, report it to the frog if that's the case, because that is unfortunate. Alright, well, we'll find out soon if he happens to use it within 80 seconds, but he doesn't have time to use it because there is a Roche underway. Elements already move in and they're able to get it done. It's going to be Cole who picks up the Aegis, and it is going to be Radiant who get the last hit. Mitch now hiding within the burrow, getting some stabs in here from the high ground, pushes himself all the way back and finds himself a new burrow position. And OG, not tempted to cross the river now, decide to withdraw from this and go all the way back to the drawing board here. Now, where's S4 at? Is he about to use it right here and now? Do you think it's been 80 seconds? It looks like it's up for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't know. Maybe it was just like 38 minutes something.
He uses it. I don't know if it's been 80 seconds legitimately or not. That is weird, and I am very curious if that is a
yeah. I have no idea. Like, I'm gonna actually watch the. I'm gonna watch the replay from his perspective but then that should tell the truth because. I'm just going to carefully count. Because that is... Yeah, but enough about that. So he's going to have his AC...
Oh, Jarek's getting swarmed on, gets the disruption off on one, but doesn't bank for the fact that Mitch is also in the neighborhood. And oh, vicious! Omni Slash! Oh, it wasn't even an Omni Slash. It was just him hitting with illusions and getting chopped that... Oh, yeah, Jug's pretty farmed if just him using Manta and slashing is going to be an Omni Slash in itself.
Cole hit level 25 and took the Agi instead of the Blade Fury DPS.
Okay.
I've been thinking like the Blade Fury DPS would be better. I don't think Jog has any real shortage of right click damage at this point, but yeah, to each to his own, I suppose.
Yeah, you get
But I
armor
was
too,
looking
I
forward to
guess.
seeing that.
But yeah, he goes up, wants the attack speed, wants the extra armor, wants the damage. And now they will be able to pincer in OG back inside their base. Only the bottom lane has a little bit of breathing room here from the guys in green, as Elements just kind of rendezvous back inside the OG jungle, and will take care of all the ancients and stuff nearby. Grab an item or so and get back into the grind of pressuring OG and trying to close out game number 2.
Yeah, I think they're just happy posturing around this area. One pick off and then they get to threaten high ground and then force buybacks, and then all they have to do is like wait for OG to try and push out lanes and then go for a pick off. And with Slark having BKB now, it's very difficult to see a scenario where he actually dies with a 10-second BKB. And now they
Smokes
smoke up
out.
with Bloodlust on... Yeah, Cole's going to push out the bot lane. Yeah, if they just catch a pick, like they're hoping someone goes and farms top lane. LeBron just kind of highlights the area, but OG just kind of move as 5 towards the river.
And Elements head all the way top, so it looks like they will just miss each other here in passing. As OG are just kind of hanging on their side. Going for the farm, Elements will have to look for a new approach and closing things out. But obviously still got to feel pretty damn confident with their farm position in this game. They're still flirting around that 10k net worth advantage. Same goes for the XP. And we just got to see if OG are able to scrap together a more formidable high ground defense now. I mean, I could still see plenty of room for growth here in No Tail.
Jug deciding to go for the Bloodthorn as his final item, so he'll be picking that up after his Aegis does indeed expire, so the atomization reaching its final points for Elements. Like, their cores are getting... Sark's got a bit of room to work with. He can substitute out the Echo Saber, go for the Abyssal, but Jug is getting as strong as he's probably going to get, and I think with 28k net worth, like, he doesn't really need to get that much stronger. Like, the Alchemist, like, what items does he replace? Like, he could... I think he's already in Aghanim's purchasing territory, so...
You don't think you replace the blade mail? You think it's good enough to be able to have that damage mitigation, and its pairing with the Octane core is good enough to hold on to?
I think he'll probably want to get rid of it, because like it does make him slightly tankier, but I think while the fact that it does work through BKB means he's probably going to keep it for quite a while. And he's got the Axiom's Quick Buy, so S4 will probably be receiving one of those, or I don't think the Conquer is very likely to. Or maybe he gives it to the SD so they have like some control for the Jug and the Slug, because that purge will go through pretty much anything.
Out of my way.
Yeah, I think the SD is probably the optimal choice for the first Aghanims.
We'll have to see if it gets to that point or not. Elements continue to scrap together the farm in the OG territory. Mitch pushes out the top lane a bit. Now all 3 lanes are pretty much right outside the door of OG. If Elements were hoping for a time to strike within the window that they still have this Aegis, I'd have to imagine it's got to be here pretty soon. And it looks like that approach could be happening right now towards this top lane. Oh, Yapsor, very brave, sir, to head out there and try to get a ward down. But it will cost him his life, and he's going to be out for a minute. And he doesn't have a
No buyback
buyback.
either.
Yeah, so no boat for this defense. That is a bit concerning if you're OG. Nonetheless, they are still going to have to do their best to try to hold here. First
It's
acid
the
spray will
Bloodthorn
go
reveal.
out.
I think Cole just jumps in, kills Jarax, and gets out. If he gets vision of the SD, that's what he's going to do.
Disruption mid for the Jug. And they might strike here onto No Tail. Gets hit a couple of times. Mitch slows him down with the stun. Then LeBron follows up with one himself.
They're just kind of just throwing stuns at the guy. They have no intention of actually killing him. They're just
Yeah.
stunning him for fun.
Does force out a Moonlight Shadow, though. As OG continue to crawl and hide inside here. Swift ending. Dances on in. Cole also no longer with that Aegis. It's not going to be as easy for them to kind of casually just siege away on these buildings. And
No Tails
they pull
purchasing
off.
out that point booster as well. Who's it going to be for? S4 and Jarax both waiting patiently.
Wait, does he actually have an Agnum's totally complete?
Yeah, he's got Agnus coming.
Who
So
wants
who's it
it?
gonna
It
SD, there we
is- All right. So charges now of Purge going to be available to them.
You also have the little problem of working out exactly how much net worth the top person has, because the last hits denies thing just kind of covers that up a bit.
You know, I mean, that's pretty obvious. I never needed
Yeah.
to say anything about that. That should be obvious
Yeah.
that is not the proper place for
Yeah, I
the
was like-
KDA.
Thinking if it's just for me, no, it's for everybody.
No, that's
And
everybody.
Gogi gets caught.
Yeah, Gogi goes down. He'll tank the gank on this one as OG, in what has been quite a while, finally able to adventure out from their home and get a nice little hit and run. But the rest of Elements are still pretty far past their side as they keep the pressure here. You see Swift Ending up at the top, bursting through this wave nicely. OG just going to try to inch their way out, retain the vision that they had. They were scouting out the high ground there, but Elements have a nice little deep ward here behind this cliff, which is not going to be easily spotted out from OG, so...
Yeah, I think Elements just need to be careful because they still just don't want a team fight right now. Like, team fighting is getting harder and harder with the purges coming out, Pan is getting close to an AC. They just need to take extended fights or to pick people off at the beginning, so they've got all this map control, they've got these aggressive wards, but they still don't feel comfortable grouping up at this point. And until they catch another pick off like the one they got on Yapzor, then I can see them just kind of passively just pushing out these lanes. I don't know if there's a point where they're going to stop wanting to do this.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned, like, is it justifiable why Elements have just kind of really pumped the brakes on closing things out against OG? Is OG just kind of representing that tough of a fortification that Elements don't
Well,
feel comfortable moving in?
Cole and Swift Ending both kind of walked up the high ground, and then Alchemist just was like, hi. And he just stood there with Blade Mail and Octary and Eltion, and then they both lost like half their health just trying to stay within range and like maybe trade with them a tiny bit. And then they both had to back out immediately. So, unless they get a pick off beforehand, they can't walk up that high ground. The Alchemist himself can hold it, and like the threats of being X marked, like you need to pop BKB, you need to pop like spin in order to get away safely. It's just not really worth the risk of walking up that high ground. And I'm just wondering, like, the Nyx is... He's got his Ags, but he's not really farming that well. He's got the... I think he does have a bonus gold per minute talent. He's got the 120 gold per minute. Now he's at level 20. But Lion and Ogre, these two heroes, they just don't have a very easy time getting into these fights. They don't have the same impact that the SD and the Kunkka do.
Here's Ochido. Moonlight Shadow. Cole's in the lane. Arrow not going to quite get the catch, but Trixie moves on in with the drop of the Starfall here. Quick Blade Fury. Now Swift Ending shows up to play. No Tail looking to go for the finish, but there goes the Omni Slash. Jumps No Tail around, but he's able to get the finish at the end of the day, and now things a bit concerning here for Elements. Swift Ending going to get knocked with the stun. S4 and No Tail begin to surround him here. Jumping from Trixie. LeBron trying to help out, gets a good stun. And it's not looking nice here. There's the Rock connection. OG on the fight back. Will be able to quickly take out 4. And they are back in this game. S4 now dominating. And now it's time for OG to cross the river for once.
Alk decides that he's won a fight, and now he just puts an entire Abyssal into his quick buy, so... If he gets this tower, we can probably see him swapping an item out for that. Might be Armlet, might be Blade Mail. I don't want to say which, because I'll probably be wrong. Trixie's going to push out the mid lane. He's got his E-Blade gold now, so he's probably going to... Yeah, he's going to overlook his buyback, I think, and he's going to get that fairly soon. And all in all, just OG now with the AC on the Panda, the Alchemist about to get something else. Like, Yapzor and SD just... They don't even need farm, they just need to press their buttons correctly, and I don't think it's very easy for them to lose a fight. And now with this Roche, they might even be able to take this mid tier 2 and play aggressive.
That mid tier 2 means that they could take out those shrines, and suddenly we're in a even battlefield.
It's
Boy, oh boy.
it's slightly weird, like Alchemist feeling confident in a game where he's not the highest net worth. It's just like a strange concept to me. And now he sends out the full Abyssal to himself. Oh.
Really feels like Elements have just been neutered at this point. Like they were so gung-ho, so moving forward, and then when it came time to move into pushing in for the high ground, OG just had such a strong defense that they knew that Elements knew that they had to do certain things to be able to kind of close things out, and those objectives just became far too difficult. Here we see Cole able to kind of get a nice little snipe onto Jerix, but He's going to try to make it away with his life if possible. He
Oh, they know exactly where he
and
is.
yeah, they ping exactly where he is, but they just figure he
They don't wanna
TP's
risk
away. Yeah. They figure that he's
No.
probably long gone or don't want to risk it. Whatever the case is, they don't want to go, and they're out.
Yeah, without SD, he's a crucial part of their team fight, so...
Ooh. Saw no tail, but unless he happened to just beeline it straight for him, there was no chance of canceling that TP. And OG
Yeah, this
already
game's
long
gonna
gone.
probably go on for a while now. S4's looking towards his BKB, so he's going to become the man-fighting panda that he's always wanted to be. So he's going to stick himself in front of one of the supports on elements, and then wait until they want to use something to stop him, press BKB, and then right as his BKB finishes, he's going to pop ulti, and then he's going to run around and generally make the Slark's life hell. Slark, who hasn't used his BKB yet, he died top, but he just kind of realized that BKB wouldn't save him because he didn't have pounce, he didn't have ulti, so he's still got that 10-second BKB to go. But it's the question of, like, he's not really able to hit anybody because this Alchemist Blade Mail is really stopping him from focusing him because it goes through BKB, so they just don't have the ability. Like, I think Omni Slash is the only reliable way they have to kill this Alchemist, and they can only do that if the SD isn't nearby.
We know Jarix, he's been pretty good about keeping himself out of too much trouble. I know he was just picked off from the bottom lane, but as the 5-on-5 fights approach, he's been pretty good about making sure he's in a spot. Plus, he's got the benefit of that ridiculous cast range now, too. His talent plus an Aether Lens in his pocket. I mean, he definitely has quite the perimeter to work with if he needs to kind of be there at a moment's notice to save said no-tail. And they're even giving him a little bit of priority in the farm here. It looks like as they want him to get the finish at least on that Ghost Scepter, so he doesn't get shredded apart easily by anything from Swift Ending or by the pesky Juggernaut.
And Mitch, I think he's looking towards either a Hex running, because it could be either one. I think both are equally valid at this point. Gogi, he's got 2.7k gold, but he's just not already been given that much. He's sitting bottom of the net worth in this game, to be expected from an Ogre at 50 minutes, but he's got a Force and a Glimmer, and I'm just wondering, like, is there anything that he can really buy to make a huge difference? Because Aghanims, I don't see him standing long enough in the fight to really get those stuns off. Maybe Lotus or something to dispel and to discourage Conquer from X marking, but yeah, he's kind of got a... Honestly, maybe even a Vlad's just for both of his melee cores would be...
Yeah, I'm not
Kinda-
sure.
It's kind of a hard choice for him. Yeah, who knows really. LeBron also, he's got 4.1k gold, so he's doing slightly better in the farm department, but again, these supports, like, they just don't have, like, the same level of impact in a team fight with their spells as the OG supports do.
Ooh.
So it's going to be all on Swift Ending.
Yeah, he, very close. Oh, very close to OG. Shows himself in the lane, and that's when they make their move in. Swift Ending now on the back end of possible punch. But Cole moves in. That new Ghost Scepter will save Jarix, but Yapster is going to also eat a lot of shots. Cole will be able to get the finish after the back end of the Blade Fury, and then sweeps his way out the other side. And meanwhile, they will be able to get the jump. LeBron's going to be going down. It's a support apiece here, but the chase continues here by OG, looking to get the grab on for Cole. The rest of Elements could be sweeping in here from the south. A good stun connection, and then a force away to help Cole out. But now it's Swift Ending under the gun, under the pressure here, surrounded by Trixie and No Tail, trying to make it back in away, but they got the X. They pull him back in, and they get the finish. Nice grab there by OG. And now they continue to stride on forward. Swift Ending taken out for 90 seconds. Does have a buyback if necessary, but OG take another good fight and earn a little bit of extra gold here with the Swift Ending takedown. Their net worth advantage on the side of Elements has been cut dramatically, and we're in a much closer, more even game.
Oh, S4, be careful, buddy.
He just casually
Holy-
runs on forward, gets
That
hit up with a
jump.
Bloodthorn, and he's dead. That Aegis now insta-gone. No Tail trying to rotate in to be there for the second life. Now going to get stunned up a bit. Slash is coming on forward. S4 is able to reset and step back and away. Now it's Elements on the run back. No Tail looking for a shot with the concoction. Not going to be able to get it. But Elements are long gone at this point. Hoping to just kind of stall things out from OG so they can't continue to advance on in and try to force out that buyback. So it looks like
Yeah.
Swift Ending will be able to hold it.
Jug hits pretty hard at this point. He's fairly good at killing people if he's actually able to, but Alchemist with the Blade Mail, he's saved himself from that for quite a while now. He drops the boots in favor of the Mjolnir, so he's going to be the right-click man for now. Also, the Mjolnir kind of helps with that
Ooh.
defensive aspect.
They got a good arrow. S4 tried to get the mark onto him, but the force was there, and now they force LeBron to the low ground. Gets the finger off, will eventually go down. No Tail, though, running right on in. Looks to go for Nyx as he's burrowed under the ground, and will be able to get the finish. Now it's OG beginning their assault on in. Swift Ending not forced to go for the buyback. He's holding on to it as much as possible, and now will finally come back into life. It's Cole who's been picking up a lot of the heavy lifting in the meantime, but now Swift Ending moves in to play in some of the action, and they will be able to get the finish. That's No Tail going down, and the killing spree going to be handed over. S4, Trixie, and company will be able to blink away as they race out. But Elements still
If they catch Jarex here, this could be big.
might get Jarex. Oh, they blink right on top of him. They even have a TP coming in from Cole. Swift Ending, though, will take the last hit. Jarex is going to be out for a
just
minute.
died without buyback.
And so, yeah, Alk and Jarex both out for like a minute without a buyback. Elements need to
Yeah, but it's a
race.
question of, like, they don't know that. They've got to assume the Alchemist does buyback, so they won't commit too hard. Like, they've just lost, like, their Lion and their Nick, so if either of them die, like, they're thinking, okay, if we push this and our supports die, then we're probably just going to lose because we won't be able to defend our base. So they need to be careful about this. They're probably going to try and force it, and then I don't think they're going to realize that. Or maybe they realize that by the fact that he hasn't bought back already when they start hitting the tower that he just doesn't have it.
They still have 40 seconds before No Tail is going to be back. There's still a gem, by the way, hanging to the left-hand side. I think they just spotted it now, and Gogi's going to look to go to retrieve it. Boat does fly out, though, helps quite a bit. Trixie jumping in, looking to go for the burst onto Cole. Can't quite get it in time. He gets the BKB up, but eventually does get dropped down. Nice quick strike from Trixie, but he could lose his own life. Swift Ending will be able to get that snag. Now S4 in there with a primal split. Gets the lift up onto LeBron, but now they are going to be splitting it up right now. Trying to focus in. S4 will get off what he can with the remainder of his ulti, but then we'll have to double back inside the base. But they've stalled things out quite a bit for No Tail to make his return in about 5 seconds' time. They will be able to get the finish onto Yapsor, who will be taken out in exchange, but now it could be OG's time to be able to fend them off. They move in, and they will be able to get the takedown of LeBron. The rest of Elements trying to make their way back out from trouble, but the stragglers of Gogi and LeBron will be picked apart and taken out. They do have buyback for Gogi. Not for LeBron, though. He's going to be out 90 seconds without a buyback.
Yeah, all this just because Jug decided not to spin. Like, he just didn't spin the X torrent. And yeah, he thought he was fine. But then as soon as the torrent hits him, he was like, okay, I'm still safe, I've got my team around me. He just gets a 5-second arrow, E-bladed Dagon, and he's dead. There's no saving that. And now they have to try and face the prospect of defending this tier 3 with no Jug.
No Tail inside now, stunned up a bit, while the rest of company looking to move in for Mitch. Now they surround Swift Ending, looking to bash him apart. Now he mans up himself, pops his BKB and Shadow Dance, hits No Tail a couple of times, and it's going to force OG back a bit. Now Trixie, caught under the stun, will be taken down. OG not able to get a whole lot of work done inside the base. Oh, nice Carapace stuns back onto No Tail, and it's Cole going to work, and they'll get it done. They slash right through No Tail. This time he will have a buyback, otherwise out for 100 seconds. Not Jarex, though. Jarex gets caught within the trees and will be taken down. He's going to be out 50 seconds. No buyback on Trixie either. This is bad. Bad for OG. Elements racing down this mid lane. They want to close out this game, too, as it gets into the 1 hour mark.
I'm quite enjoying this back and forth. They're both just trying to push base, and then some dying, some making mistakes, and then people getting caught out, not having buyback, and then the other team just races down, and then they get wiped. And let's see what happens now. They don't have buyback on the Jug. Yeah, and Swift Ending, he's deciding he doesn't want to go for AC or Butterfly. He just picks up the Moon Shard. He's kind of developing an affinity with his Echo Saber. He just wants to keep that for a while. They might pressure the high ground with this Jug, but they just need to be careful.
He steps in, gets off a few shots, and pops his Blade Fury to go for the finish, but that's when they want to strike with the Abyssal Blade, but No Tail! Not ready for it whatsoever, just gets assaulted quickly and taken apart by Cole. He's going to be out of this game, no buyback. It's going to be all on the remaining members of Ochi to try to hold, and it's only going to be on S4 to try to dish out whatever damage he can with the Primal Split. Without Trixie being able to buy back, this looks very, very grim for OG. Elements just easily sweep on in. Jarek's trying to stay alive with the back end of a Ghost Scepter, but that's not going to be good enough. Now S4, his Primal Split about to conclude. He does manage to make it back towards the fountain. Cole trying to chase onto him, but the damage may have been done. Elements sweep through the mid lane set of racks, and they're just going right for the tier 4s now. Look how fast that man attacks. Jesus Christ.
Yep, they're just hitting the buildings now. I think just SD was too far away from the Alchemist. He goes in for the Abyssal, tries to force the BKB or Dark Packet out of Slark, but they just weren't ready to save him.
And that is going to be the Ancient going down, and that's going to be Elements claiming game number 2 of this best of 5. They are just one win away from shutting down the favorites OG and punching their ticket to go to the Croatia LAN.
Yeah, both teams just really showcasing the fact that they can teamfight extremely well. I think Elements had a lot of good impales in the early game. Their laning stage was very, very good. And OG just kind of managed to slow the game down. They managed to get to a point where they felt comfortable taking fights. And they went from a position where everything kind of felt like it was all hopeless, and then they kind of turned it around, got a lot of harm on Trixie, but just in the end few engagements, these buybacks getting forced out, they just make 1 or 2 mistakes, and that's, at the hour mark, that's when it really does start to cost you.
I mean, are we going to see it, Rhyme? Do you think Elements are